a Three Geeks Presents podcast. I'm not going to introduce them. They want to do that themselves.
Yes. Don't touch
What
it.
I want to say first, though, or mainly, is jump on Twitter. Even if you did it yesterday, do it again. Send us a tweet.
We can't start yet. Hold on.
At PVDMVP at Three Geeks Podcast. You will win a prize that you see right there in front of you. Or if you want something for your dog, we have dog collars at the booth that you can also win. Anyway, I'm going to turn it over to Scott to do all the proper stuff.
No, Max starts it off, and then I'll take it off.
Well, I'm Max.
I'm Scott.
I'm Dan.
And we're your Anime-Niacs. That's spelled with a hyphen. We're not trying to get sued. It's Anime-Niacs. It's totally different from the beloved Steven Spielberg Presents show.
Which is excellent.
Which is coming back.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I heard that too. So we might actually get sued. I'm waiting for the cease and desist. I mean, I named this podcast "Waiting for a Cease and Desist." So I just want to get that letter. I'm gonna frame it. I'm gonna put it on Twitter.
For views or listens.
Huh?
If we got a cease and desist, that would drive our numbers.
Oh yeah. I mean, but I just want it personally. Like that to me would mean
We
they
made it.
finally acknowledge me. They had to acknowledge me.
Like we'd have to put like formerly known as Anime.
Right.
Anime-Niacs.
Anime-Niacs. TM.
One more.
Rob Paulson was at Chicago, and he does, was it Yakko?
Yakko.
Yeah. But that was before they said, oh, it's coming back. I wish I would have known. But,
Yeah, that would have been good. We could.
You want to sue us?
Could
bro?
kind of face off.
Yeah.
Be like, our lawyer directed us not to speak to you, but we are willing to make an exception.
Yeah.
Pending further legal. All right, well, we are here to discuss why animation gets kind of a bad rap, why it takes a backseat to live action.
Correct.
Straight thumbs down. Friggin'. Yeah, Scott, this is actually
Yeah, so-
your brainchild.
Yeah, so this came to me because I have a friend, and he and I watched through Last Airbender, like growing up on TV. So it was great. And then we have another friend who did not, and he heard about the Netflix show that's coming out, and he was like, hey, I heard about this. I thought you guys would be interested. And I'm like, yeah, like it could be cool. They got the original people involved, but there's no way it's going to be better. Like, I just don't see that. And he was like, well, I feel like live action is always better than a cartoon. And then my friend was like, did you see the Shyamalan movie? And that's kind of how this all came out. Because that's not necessarily an uncommon, like, thought. That, like, oh, cartoons are for kids. And they're like down here in terms of art and live action. That's the Scorsese and Spielberg. And yeah, they're the true film artists. So that's kind of where this all, I feel like this is unnecessary. But that's kind of like where that all came from.
Scott, I need you coming through that. I need that.
Because that just, it just kind of sat with me. I'm like, yeah, like people think that. Like oh, animation is not as high a standard. And like, it's funny because like Last Airbender is one of the funniest ones you can choose because there's a very clear like live action versus animation, at least for now. Maybe I want the live action to be good.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be bad, but that's kind of where this all stemmed from.
Yeah. And it's in a lot of things. If you look at Batman Assault on Arkham versus the Suicide Squad movie, if you look at the
Which
G.I.
is any of the DC animated movies are like normally way above.
Yeah, generally speaking, yeah.
Normally.
Yeah. There are obviously a few outliers, but but yeah, it's
Which one?
Teen Titans Go.
Fun.
man.
I have a weird appreciation for that too.
I don't like Go. I prefer the original teaser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
Fight
both.
each other.
I like one more than the other, but I'm okay with both.
I'm not down for canceling Young Justice to put Teen Titans Go on.
That's my
Not-
main beef.
I
Okay.
cannot condone
I mean,
that.
Young Justice is back now.
We got it
Yes.
back. It's we actually did a few podcasts on Young Justice, so check those out. Anime-Niacs episodes on Young Justice. That is like our #1 show. But this last season I felt was a little weak. But yeah, you can check that out. We did a whole podcast on it. It's great stuff.
Is that our number one or is Voltron number one?
No, I think Young Justice is
Young
way better
Justice?
than
Yeah.
Voltron.
Voltron's
Fair
good.
enough.
But
We
when-
definitely
not to
gushed
take
over
away
that
from
plenty, but
I'm in the minority.
All right. Well, yeah. So there's Batman: Assault on Arkham is a Suicide Squad movie, and then when they made the Suicide Squad movie, they should have just remade Batman: Assault on Arkham, but they didn't do that. G.I. Joe Resolute came out before the G.I. Joe movies, and it is so good, especially compared to these G.I. Joe movies. But like no one's gonna know about it because it came out on Cartoon Network, you know, and no one cares. And that is just a way missed opportunity. And I thought they had another shot at it, right? They get The Rock, right? They get The Rock in there. I'm like, this is it. Here we go. Like, no, it's not. The case.
Somehow worse.
It was
the first one.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it was worse. And maybe it was worse just because like they managed to get your expectations back up a little bit, and you're like, because normally after I see a terrible movie, the sequel's coming out, I'm like, you got me the first time. We're not doing that again. But like this time, I'm like, okay, well, it looks a little better. It looks like they got The Rock involved. I'm down for these things. Freaking the RZA, RZA's in it. Can't go wrong.
Wait a minute now. Like,
Yes, that's where you know if the RZA's in your movie, it's not a good movie.
Unless he's doing the soundtrack.
No, but then he's not in the movie. He's doing the soundtrack.
yeah.
There's a difference.
Speaking of which, we did the MFKZ that had RZA
Oh yeah.
doing the soundtrack. It was excellent.
Great soundtrack.
Yeah, and if you haven't seen it, highly recommend it. It's hilarious.
Was
It's
it
excellent.
Muda
Fukas, yeah.
Fukas. Yeah, so MFKZ, that was a really good one. It's really interesting art in that one.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the other thing I like people don't appreciate about animation either is like you're watching what if the Mona Lisa was animated? You know what I'm saying? Like you're getting to see something that's more than just it's not just drawing. It's not just like the script. It's not just the voice acting. It's all of these things put together, and then you come up with a good cartoon. So like it's really hard to make animation. Like it's very very technical. Requires a lot of work, and I think that people just like feel like somebody's scribbling in their garage for like a couple hours a day, and then it's not these whole teams of people that they're required to make these movies. Like it's really
It's like the kid that sat in the back of the class and made like a flip book.
yeah.
Yes.
I mean, or if you think
That's
about
how it works.
like Walt Disney with the rotoscoping back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Cool stuff.
they were like the quality was there, and that's live action in animation too. So like that's something that helps enhance the product. But people take that stuff for granted. They don't think about like how hard it is and how much work it takes. I remember there's a new cartoon coming out on I think it's Hulu, but they use rotoscoping, and it looks really interesting. I like visually. I can't say.
Unravel.
Yes, yeah.
It's out on Amazon Prime. It's out right now.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Right. So it looks
Is
really
it
cool.
good?
I haven't watched it, but based on everything I have seen, it does look cool. I agree.
I'm waiting on the Disney app to come out to get Hulu because they're gonna bundle it. So.
ESPN Plus, so I can watch the Jackets.
Just lump it all together. It'll be fine.
Yeah. So, but like and that's it just looks stunning. So I'm very excited to see that, and yeah, I personally can't figure out why animation is second rate to live action. I mean, obviously there's good and bad everything.
Right. And there are people who are like, all movies should be animated. Like,
Nah.
No, there's definitely because it's cool when you take a live action thing. If it's something you've seen in animation and they do it in real life, but then the trouble is you have to pull it off. Whatever it is you're trying to do, don't just CG it because then you're just doing animation. That's the other thing. People don't realize that computer generated stuff is animation.
Yes.
Live action Lion King.
Yeah. The quote unquote live action Lion King is not that. They should never call it that. It's a photorealistic Lion King movie. That's what it is.
It doesn't look as good on the poster of it.
I mean, because what cartoon is it with photorealistic tiger in it?
Jungle Book?
Uncle Grandpa has a photorealistic tiger in it, and that's the name of the character.
I've never watched it.
Meh.
Meh.
But yeah, there's a photorealistic tiger.
At this point, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so there's just a bunch of even movies where they're like, oh man, well this animation did kind of good, and then they just go to make a movie and they think, well since it's live action, we don't have to try as hard. That's what upsets me. It's just because since there's actual people in it, we just don't have to try as hard.
Right. I think one of the best examples of live action from animation would be the original Turtles movie. Because the original live action Ninja Turtles movie is I hold that pretty highly in terms of adaptations of something that I love.
It's dark. It's hard hitting. I mean
But it's still funny. It's still got
they got Corey Feldman in there. I'm sorry for killing.
Sam
Feldman.
Rockwell
I
is
didn't
in
mean
it.
to mention
I had
Corey.
to think for a second. I was like, oh crap, it did. Well, your biggest stigma is that people are going to say it's for kids, like animation, because that's the way it's been marketed. Like, Disney was all ages, but it's for kids.
But how do you see? But Bambi's mom dies in the first 10 minutes. Spoilers. Sorry.
Damn it.
I know you're waiting for live action, photorealistic Bambi.
Photorealistic Bambi.
All right, good. Either way.
Okay, so I was gonna say, the funny thing is, anymore they do kind of show it's for kids, but then they get away with so much stuff that only adults can understand. Gravity Falls, for instance,
Oh, yeah.
this incredible TV show that got away with so much stuff, and all ages can enjoy it.
Justin
I know,
Roiland and Dan Harmon.
I know little kids who watched it. I know adults who absolutely love it, and it's one of those shows where you can be a kid or an adult and just really enjoy it. And the problem is, most adults don't get that, and that's why I have a boss at work. He's like, I want to watch something edgy and really good, so I tell him about it. He's like, but it's animated, and I'm like, yes, but just give it a freaking chance. It's only 2 seasons.
Yeah.
We're going back to why you don't see it. While this is changing, it is changing, you have to understand that there's been a certain tradition towards that. Like, for example, most people, or I think people know that anime in Japan got a real shot in the arm when they were introduced to Disney products. I mean, that Disney and other Western things influenced them for decades. So it's like why their characters have wide eyes, because our characters early on had wide eyes, and frankly why they tend to do their characters as Caucasian, because this is what they were
They do just not it's pretty much just not Japanese. Anything but Japanese you can be in an anime. Like, I like the German ones, like when they go German. I don't know why, I think that's the funniest thing ever.
Sorry.
But the point is that first blush, it made a sort of cultural impact. The Japanese took that and decided that cartoons and comic books or their manga could be for anyone, so they made them for all ages. We took the same stuff and said, well, this is just for kids. I mean, it's just one of those things that a mass culture just makes a decision on, and then that becomes a solid tradition. Now, it is, like I said, I think it's changing. We're finally at an era with South Park and obviously Simpsons now, where we're not just seeing it as that way anymore. But it's still gonna take some time. I mean, it's still some generations to see it that way, and we're still used to seeing that. I mean, that's how South Park and Family Guy made their reputation, by sort of being, by being an anti-children's.
Oh yeah, now we have South Park, Family Guy, Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Bob's Burgers is really good.
I can't get behind Bob's.
King of the Hill.
What's that guy's name?
Baba?
H.M. Benjamin.
Yeah, I love him. I love Archer.
I love the Archer episode of
Bob's
Burgers.
Burgers.
Oh, to piggyback off of what he was saying, even Pixar's changing the game with Oscar-nominated animated films. Because a lot of Pixar movies are not just for kids. Like The Incredibles, you got a guy who's dealing with a midlife crisis.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And like Incredibles 2 was about like changing roles in the family and like there's a lot like, or you take what's the emotions one?
Inside Out.
Inside Out. Like they're dealing with like growing up and that time where like it hurts, but it can also be a good thing.
Even Toy Story 4.
Oh, look, I haven't watched Toy Story 4.
I haven't watched it.
Toy Story 3 had the most depressing moment I've ever seen
Oh
in
no,
anything.
it's worse.
Ruining our childhood.
No, wait.
Like everyone, like in Toy Story 3, they're all in the trash compactor or whatever it is, and they were all just like, well, we can die, Andy doesn't love us anyway. And I'm just like, I didn't sign up for this. Like, I gotta go do something. Like, this is supposed to be about lovable toys.
Actually,
You just-
one of the best scenes they've ever filmed. I loved it, but
It's
we
an
can't-
incredible scene, yeah.
Yeah,
but
but-
you can't let this go without talking about Wall-E. I mean, come on.
Oh.
Wall-E isn't just, Wall-E in my opinion isn't just one of their better films, it's art. I mean, they made us, think about it. they make us care about a box that just rolls around and can't say any words more than Wall-E.
Yes.
And we're all on board. I mean,
But,
come on.
I mean, like the robot falls in love. You know, he goes on
It's
an
got
adventure.
really emotive eyes, though.
Well, yes, but I mean, give it up.
Aren't they
No,
making
what-
a live action Wall-E?
Oh gosh, no, no.
I can deal with a live action Wall-E or photorealistic Wall-E. No, it can actually be live action though, because they could build a Wall-E, so it can be live action. But yeah, think about that before you poo-poo Wall-E. They can build
Why
one.
are you pointing at me? I didn't say it.
I'm not making it. I'm just saying. I heard
How dare you?
You're the one in the robot.
They
We know
may
it.
be remaking Treasure
Boo this man!
That's it. We're cutting this.
I was not a big fan of that.
No, what I
I
love.
was more of a Titan AE fan. Because those both came out around the same
Really?
time.
Treasure Planet and Atlantis, top 10.
Treasure Planet.
Atlantis is fantastic.
I'm just happy somebody else likes Titan AE.
I love Titan AE.
I want to watch
I
it.
don't hate Titan AE, but I definitely like Treasure Planet.
Treasure Planet was cool.
But yeah, no. The thing I loved about Wall-E was that the actual like humans, like how fat and useless they were.
Did you cry at the end when they all got off their little chairs?
Dude, like my perfect life, my dream life is that Wall-E life. All I do is travel around in that van. I'm just fat as all can be.
You're going against the film's message.
So yeah, like I would like that.
I
I would
think you
like
got
to.
the wrong message.
No?
Future's great, guys.
But you know, I get what teaches though. I'm not gonna, if you don't want to live your life fat and happy, then that's your business. But yeah, no, it's I thought that was a good way to speak on how, because I'm like I can see humanity becoming that and just being like, oh well, now we got everything to do it, and we're these
Walmart controls the world.
Yeah, we're just like slugs pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
You just live in a Walmart now. You don't actually have to go there.
Yeah, and the other thing that gets me is like when you have a successful, I mean Disney's kind of they're doing it. Like you have a successful animated movie, and you go to make a live action, you don't really gotta change things. Like it worked, it worked, and people liked it. That's why you want to make it live action. You don't need to go and change everything. I mean, I guess unless you.
I wish they wouldn't. They're just building up nostalgia, right? They're just making a buck off of someone else's childhood memory.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
And that's fair. I mean, like, and if you can, like, I wouldn't mind seeing if they made an Aladdin movie, but I don't want to see the carbon copy of the cartoon, because there's a lot more you can speak of in a live action movie. Like that this does give you the chance to like emote with people and things like that. So like if you're not taking the opportunity to make a movie that's gonna say like hey, well we're gonna touch on some of the problems that would actually be in because like she wants to pick her own husband, and at the end, by the end of the movie, her father's like, yes, you can pick your own husband, and everything is fine. That's not how things would go in real life, and so it's like I would like to see if they were gonna make an Aladdin movie, like take it.
You mean another one?
Yeah.
Aladdin
2 Boogaloo?
right? Like
Oh no, Return of Jafar.
give me some-
Yoga Godfrey singing again.
Give me some day in the life of in the Middle East back in like when Agrabah would have been a place, and that's more like what I want to see.
Sounds like a horrifying movie.
It could be. Like we don't know.
Aladdin dies in the first like 5 minutes.
We'll never get, he gets his hand cut off in the first.
Like Game of Thrones.
Yes,
Did you
give
deal
me
with,
Game
like,
of Thrones
the
Aladdin. I'm
politics
down
and
for
the-
this. I'm down for this 100%.
It's like the beginning of Robin Hood without the happy ending when he pulls the guards. Loses his hands.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just you're gonna go away from the source material again. Like I said, with the GI Joe movies, you could have watched GI Joe Resolute. They had the whole thing scripted and panned out for you beat for beat, and you left it there. You just didn't watch it at all. Freaking Batman: Arkham Asylum, great Suicide Squad movie. It's like you get all the same things they gave you in the Suicide Squad movie. Somebody dies in the first 3 minutes. Somebody, someone doesn't believe Waller and gets their head exploded. So like all of the same beats are in the movie, and it's 100% better than the movie that you came up with because you have Will Smith in it. And Will Smith doesn't want to play a bad guy. He wants to play Will Smith. He can't be Deadshot because he's just Will Smith. So like they need to give him a different role, because if he wants to play like a guy who's good down in his down in his heart, but he does bad things. That's a different
He
character.
shouldn't be Deadshot, yeah.
Yeah. So, sure, why not? Like, yeah, I just don't see where you pass up, and this even speaks to like back to the comic books, like where you pass up good source material to make a live action thing, and just so you can call it live action.
But then the studios kind of shoot themselves in the foot by also making bad source material, like the second animated Suicide Squad movie.
Oh man, yeah, oh yeah. See, but that came out after. See, I feel like
Yeah,
they were doing
yeah,
the movie,
but-
the animated movie.
But I mean, like there's that stigma again.
The movie,
like,
the animation, the movie.
we're gonna make this
Street Fighter
adult.
game, the movie.
Yeah. Oh god, that's an awful game. But no,
a
like,
great movie.
like we're gonna make this animated movie for adults because we're gonna have a little, smattering of language, and we're gonna have like a couple strip clubs in it.
Yeah, there's some sexy
and
time.
and yeah, there you go. That's your adult content. You can't actually like make a mature storyline. And that's.
And then that's the other thing too. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, well now that adults are asking for this media, it's like, hey, like we can. I still like cartoons. Like, yeah, I know I'm freaking 30, but I would like to watch a cartoon. Yeah, so they're like, oh, okay, here's something for you, and it's just like, okay, well there's a booby in this one. That's adults.
Yeah. What was that called?
Oh, it was the brief
Road to
graphic.
Hell?
No, it was the brief graphic nudity. You remember?
Yeah.
I mean,
Brief graphic.
It was like an animated.
It's like
side
a long.
But yeah, that's also just a cop out, and it's
Yeah.
it's no good. But I think that's pretty fun. Oh, okay, well, I guess I can. Keep the kids away from this one. There's some animated side moves.
but that's what makes it edgy.
Yeah.
It's not the plot or the character interaction or anything. It's just
But in Airbender, freaking with this animation, they had like there's a lot of there's a lot of good lore. There's a lot of like theology. There's a lot of different mindsets and how people live their lives and things like that. It's things you can actually connect to, and they achieve that in the cartoon. But they again, just to make a movie, they're like, well, we got people shooting fire out of their hands, so that's cool.
have a head-sized rock.
Yeah, and it's missing out on the heart and soul of it, and
the world building.
yeah, and again, just to make it live action, and I don't feel like it's not doing anybody any favors, and you don't even make the buck that you're trying to sell out.
Yeah, but they seem to. I mean, we've had the same discussion about, it's always the same. Television does a comic book adaptation, but they don't take the time to understand what the comic book is about. The movies do an adaptation of a great novel. They don't take the time to figure out what it's about. They just want the names and the faces and the images, and then people buy it. So.
If you look at The Last Airbender, that killed The Last Airbender. No one, they're like, oh my god, you see that crappy movie? I'm not and then they have to explain to people no, the cartoon is good. Please watch it. And they're like, well, no. M. Night Shyamalan made that movie. We're not watching that.
I mean, Legend of Korra still went on for a few more years.
Oh yeah, no. The Legend of Korra was again after a good amount of time they came back with Legend of Korra, which was also super sweet. But it's detrimental, on a bigger scale than even it's okay, well, we made a bad movie. This is this hurt the whole industry, the whole Avatar freaking universe because franchise. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for.
The Avatar cinematic universe.
There we go.
Terrible, absolutely terrible. But the poor Avatar cinematic universe. But I don't even know what I was saying. I got lost.
Just
in Avatar
the
cinematic
live
universe.
action attempt kind of hurt things over.
Yeah, and it's they had everything right in front of them. And you got to go find a 10-year-old kid who can act, and that's not easy. You got to go find, if you're trying to make this movie, you got to go find 14 preteens who can act. But I mean, they did it for Harry Potter. So I don't see why they can't grow the same kids out of a tube like they did for Harry Potter.
I mean, they're older, but still. I mean,
Yeah.
You can use. It's not like a 30-year-old playing a high school kid. Like, you know, you're
Tobey
fine.
Maguire.
Yeah. Speaking of which, so that brings me to another thing, and that's so Spider-Verse is my favorite Spider-Man movie. I mean, you can argue about Spider-Man 2. Yeah. Okay, but like that
You've
movie.
not seen Into the Spider-Verse yet?
No.
We should get that on.
Change it.
I do plan to see it though. I do plan.
It's
to
on
see it.
Netflix.
Okay.
So you don't have any.
All right, look, man.
It's also on Hulu too.
Just borrow somebody.
We are across from the Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park.
Yes. We might have a copy of Spider-Man. Come down to our table. I will give you a copy.
I know we
of
have Far
Spider-Man.
From Home. I don't know if we got Spider-Verse.
I don't know if we do or not.
But come down anyway.
Yeah, come check us out. I want to see if we have it. I want to give it to you.
But my point is, so like, Far From Home was a great movie.
Yeah,
like
I
broke
think-
$1 billion.
Yep, my favorite
Spider-Verse,
live action.
I think is a stronger movie and didn't even break 400 million.
Oh no.
And I
Yeah,
think that's
I
back
agree.
to the stigma of like, oh, well, it's an animated movie, so it's for kids. So, but like Pixar, like, do they make $1 billion? Do like, because like Pixar movies always win Best Animated Film, except for Spider-Verse, which one? But like, is Pixar doing $1 billion?
The Toy Story movies.
Do they? Are they hitting that
I
$1
think
billion?
Incredibles sets
Toy
the
Story.
record. Incredibles 2.
Yeah.
Toy Story 3
Mo-
and 4 hit $1 billion.
What? No, Frozen is not Pixar. Frozen, there's
Frozen
Disney
Disney.
animated.
Zootopia hit Frozen over $1 billion.
Did it?
Zootopia was awesome.
That was
Zootopia's
amazing.
happiness
And
in a
it
bottle.
overtook the record from Frozen. So.
Nice.
Good for them. It's a stronger movie. So.
Tangled is better than Frozen.
I agree.
Agreed.
Hey, I gotta tell you, the series is fantastic. You gotta get past a lot of a crap ton of fillers.
So it's not fantastic? is
But
what you're saying?
season 2, no, it gets dark.
Sit through season 1 is what you're saying.
Yes.
Make it to season 2.
Basically, except the finale episode.
It's like the next
Okay.
generation of Disney animated.
But it's fantastic.
But I'm excited for Disney animated to get back to like relevancy. I mean, like we were talking about yesterday, Darkwing Duck, freaking
Yes.
Tailspin, freaking like all the old Disney cartoons, or even DuckTales. Like I mean, that tried to come back, but
That was good.
Did you
No,
like
it's
it?
I like the new DuckTales.
No, DuckTales, so they brought DuckTales back, and
Yeah.
that's why they're bringing everything else back, because DuckTales has done so well.
It's doing good.
They're bringing
Awesome.
everything back.
Awesome.
No,
I watched a
it's
few
awesome.
episodes and I was not.
There's an
Hooked.
episode you have to watch. It's about a Darkwing Duck episode. It's like they're gonna remake Darkwing Duck as a movie because he's a movie in that episode. But
Okay.
Darkwing Duck becomes a thing in it. It's
Gotcha.
amazing.
It's
I
like a
cried
meta-
in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, meta.
I wasn't mad when they remade DuckTales. I was happy to see it come back.
Danger Mouse remake
I
is
stayed
super
home
funny.
from-
I really enjoyed that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I liked
Yeah,
it because
it's
the original, like going back and watching it, is like so,
Eh.
not great.
Yeah, you don't want them to remake that. You know, like.
But I like the way they did it.
Yeah.
Like
For
I
sure.
like how he's like not just like, because in the original he's like, oh, I'm Danger Mouse, like do anything.
Yeah.
And he's like super powerful. In this he's just like always, he's like super confident, but he's just always screwing up.
It's like Spy. Did you watch it with Jason?
Oh, yeah,
Jason
yeah.
Statham in Spy. Where he's like, oh, I'm the best spy, and then he's just a complete idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
It's like a parody of those old like, oh, here's the
So
cartoon.
let's jump back to
character.
Into the Spider-Verse real quick. So it won Best Animated Movie last year.
Correct.
I think it should have been nominated for an actual Oscar.
So that was another thing I wanted to bring up. How do you
What?
guys feel about best film and best animated film being separate?
I don't like it.
Okay.
See, here's the thing. There's like actual proof that the Oscars judges just don't really pay attention to the animated film category. There is
Okay,
genuine
that's fine.
proof that they just pick whatever most popular most of the time.
But I think the problem is that if there weren't the best animated, then they might even get less recognition and less anything, because how many of them are actually literally compared to the live action, how many
How often?
animated movies would get
Mhm.
realistic consideration? You know, you may get one like Beauty and the Beast once every decade or something, but with the best animated feature, yeah, they're kind of getting short shrift when it comes to best picture.
Mhm.
But at least every announcement awards like, oh, this is the best animated. Every year you're getting credit for some animated movie.
Yeah, and I totally.
If you're not winning Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Director, Best Actress, which I think they're combining now, so you can just Best Thespian or
Best
whatever.
film.
Best person in a film.
Yeah, no, they are, because you know it's all equal and we're all cool, like we're all actors here.
Nobody's watching.
But like nobody's watching award shows anymore because award shows suck.
I
Like
don't watch it.
Yeah.
it's not like back when there was only those like all we have is the Oscars going on right now.
No.
Like, yes, everyone's hyper involved in the Oscars. There's just nothing else.
If you get a chance, go look at the presentation of Rawhide on YouTube, because they had way too much time, so they just had a bunch of actors just go out and sing the Rawhide theme song, and it is awful. Anyway,
It sounds like something Dan would like.
yes.
With regard to the topic at hand, no, I do think that they need to be separate. An animated, however it is about the category, an animated movie is still decided on, I think, because of its merits, because of its rating. Movies and the best movies in other categories, you could be up against a whole bunch of stuff, social relevancy, cultural this, speaking of this. I don't think an animated film would get its chance to shine in that environment. There are just too many other elements. Not to mention the fact that somebody's always going to bring up the fact that, well, the actors in this movie acted physically, did everything didn't just use their voices, but this and that. And whereas animation is just how well somebody drew something.
To that
I'm not
point,
saying
you've never seen Robin Williams in the sound booth. You've
Oh,
never
no.
seen Mark Hamill in the sound booth. They're not fully acting everything.
Right, and to your thing though, it's not just that they suck. They're falling because people are tired of listening to all this PC shit every time they turn on a show.
I mean, like, part of it is like, yeah, I mean, you get people speech making, and it's like, well, what do you who are you and what do you know? But I just feel like award shows haven't changed in 60 years. It's the same thing. They don't do anything different. I mean, like MTV tried to do they're a little more fun, and you got like the Nick Kids ones, which is just a little more fun. Yeah. So
you got the Games Awards.
Oh, those are so bad.
Yeah.
But we get announcements for stuff.
and look, it's like any award show is like, we picked this guy as the best. Come on up. I am glad you think I'm the best. Thank you. And then everyone claps and they walk off stage. And it's just like, I don't care.
It's like watching that.
It would be better.
Yeah, it would take less time.
I do want to say, I know you need to look up on YouTube though. There is some great videos from when they did the best animated category. Pixar actually did special animation of like Buzz and Woody, and they had bow ties on and everything, and they got to give the announcement.
Right.
They used to do that. They don't do that anymore. They used to do it, and it was so great. Edna Mode came out, and she did the best character. It was the best, the best wardrobe designer, and she did that. It was
That's awesome.
hilarious.
That is awesome.
They need to do that again. That's their problem. They need to add some more creativity into there.
And it's like now, it's a little easier, I think, to, obviously with the computer you can make things a little faster. So to have like interactive things like that would be cool. Or even if you're looking like the like Instagram or whatever, you can make your face look like a box or whatever. So like you could have like Peter Bird. Brad Bird. You could have Brad Bird doing Edna like live, but it looks like her, yada yada. So like they could have different things like that. That'd be really fun.
That'd be so fantastic.
But yeah, it's just how much fun are you willing to have? But like I feel badly that it's like all the work that it takes to make an animated movie doesn't get. I mean, you're not going to get, just like you're saying, you don't feel like it deserves to be with the live action stuff, because I mean, there's only 5 animated movies that have come out in a year. There's like 38 different movies that are going to come out in a year. So it's just easier to make a live action movie,
That might be a good thing, because you wouldn't have like Oscar bait animated movies.
Oh.
Yeah, I was gonna say that when
But
he
what
had
about
his
the
point.
good ones though?
Well,
Like,
no,
yeah,
because
I
like,
mean,
there's
there
plenty
are
of
good
Oscar
ones.
bait movies
Yeah.
that are like, oh, this one best picture, like whatever.
Yeah.
And there's gonna be like a bunch of animated ones, and like, oh, this one best picture over Spider-Verse or whatever. Like,
Spider-Verse should have won Best Picture.
it did.
Best
Best
picture.
animated. Okay.
And Black Panther was the first Marvel film to actually get an Oscar.
Yeah, but I'm like, Logan got shafted.
Yeah.
Then and the whole reason Black Panther got a nod was because Logan came out the year before and they didn't care. Like they're just like, yep, superhero movie, we don't care. And then like Patrick Stewart should have got Best Supporting Actor in that one. At least the nomination. At least the nomination, because he did such a good job in that movie. And yeah, I was just like, so Black Panther, I don't think is better than Logan. I like it. I don't want to like take a.
I was
take a
upset
step
that
on
it didn't win Best Picture just because like, yes, it'd be nice to get this recognition.
Yeah, but if Logan, I just wish Patrick Stewart would have won Best Supporting for Logan, and that would have been them seeing something that happened and in the right time doing what was right. But none of that stuff is in.
Because it's an actual, thespian guy.
Yeah.
You can't block that now.
Well, I mean, you got Dark Knight with Heath Ledger got an Oscar.
Yeah, but he died.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
one of those things where it's like, if he hadn't died, would he have still got
I
it?
don't
Probably
think so.
not.
Actually, I disagree. That performance was just undeniable.
It was
I'm
great.
sorry, it was.
It
No,
was great.
and I agree, but like, as we've said, like, sometimes the best doesn't necessarily get acknowledged.
Yeah,
Like,
the
Logan.
only reason that people were like, okay, well, we have to say something is because it also was a mental health issue and suicide and all these things. So,
Oh, it was that.
well, I know, but like it still brings up the conversation because like he took the medication. Like that's.
Actually, I think that's something people try to deny about it too.
Yeah.
Look, it's known fact that he was on heroin when he was doing all this stuff. But when you do that stuff after a while, your body builds up an immunity to everything. Okay. I mean, I have friends or know people with addictions who have to take like 10, 20 aspirin to get the same effect you and I get from too. Or they have to go overboard on Novocaine. That's what it does to you for the rest of your life. Okay. He accidentally overdosed on all of those because they probably weren't working for him because he'd already done so much heroin. So even when you quit, that's what goes on. I think people should have spoken about that more because it's not just because that's what happens to you when you do that shit. Okay, even when you get off of it, it's still going to affect you the rest of your life. It's done damage, and it's damage you're going to see over time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And Heath Ledger, Michael Jackson. These people like it's. And then you're just taking prescribed medication, and at the doses it's prescribed, but it's all of them put together that causes the problem. And it's sad and it's terrible, and it's.
But it's a more sensational thing to say, like, oh, well, he must have been unhinged because of the role, and that's. Yeah.
So like we got caught up
Jack
in that
Nicholson
whirlwind,
said.
and it was just such a good Joker.
I'm kind of curious about the new Joker movie now.
Have you not seen it?
No, I
Joaquin
haven't.
Phoenix.
I've seen it. I'm just curious if that's going to get any nods.
It will.
I hope so. I think Joaquin Phoenix did a great job in the movie.
Yeah.
I really, really liked him in that movie.
It's
And-
Oscar bait.
But would it be Oscar bait if Joaquin Phoenix was only voicing the role? If they got Mark Hamill to voice the Martin Scorsese's Joker, voiced by Mark Hamill, the animated movie, is it getting the same nods? I mean, because like Mark Hamill would kill it. You know he would kill it.
Oh, yeah.
But, no pun intended.
So back to the topic. I want Saturday morning cartoons to come back, where we get a cartoon version of like all the hit movies and the rappers of the day.
They're not healthy, sorry.
What's that?
They're not healthy. We gotta have
Are you
drama shows.
I like Saturday morning cartoons. The Beetlejuice, there was an MC Hammer cartoon, we had the Magic Shoes that helped them dance.
Dude, these are all cartoons.
Do you remember that cartoon that was like Michael Jordan and Bo Jackson?
Yes.
And Wayne
The Pro Stars.
Oh my goodness.
Wish Kid with Macaulay Culkin. I mean, awesome. Let's bring those back.
That Wish Kid had live action in the beginning of it, didn't it?
And Back to the Future had live action, Christopher Lloyd stuff.
Oh.
Yeah. I used to like.
Chuck Norris's Karate Commando.
What I'm also
Bring
wondering
that
is
up.
like, did Who Framed Roger Rabbit, did that like win awards when it came out?
I hope so.
Oh, it should have.
For like
That's
special
classic.
effects or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, like
Yeah.
that was also like all the animated characters are compelling, and then they have their own like, even though they're all like goofy cartoons, but like
Even Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny interacted. That's huge right there.
yeah, we're not going to see that ever.
Yep.
We never got a sequel.
Yeah.
Or at least one reason why.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, I don't have a question. I'm just
Yeah, so it's like
Music hard.
even when you're doing like because Who Framed Roger Rabbit is great. It's got great comedy, great
so
drama.
good.
There's like lots of good tension in that movie. Would that get a nod today? Like, would you
I
get?
would hope so.
I wish.
I don't know. Do they take away because
As
of
long as
animation?
it's not CGI.
But I mean, like that's probably what it would be.
And
Or like
Yeah.
if you look at the Pokemon movie, I was really impressed with that one. Like, and not the movie itself, but the way that like that they, because like there's so much CG going on in there that I was like, this is gonna look terrible the whole time, and like they really pulled it off. Are we gonna do giveaways?
Yeah, that's why I came up here. Did everybody tweet at us?
Anybody?
Tweet at 3 Geeks Podcast. Real quick.
Or
This
don't.
is like the first
Tell
time
you
we've
what,
had more
forget the
prizes than, or less prizes than people.
If you would like one of these movies up here, we've got X-Men and Avengers.
Yeah, if you hate yourself,
Come up
grab
here,
that Dark Phoenix.
grab the Blu-ray. We appreciate you guys so much for coming up to our stuffs. So you just come up here and grab anything.
Hey,
No! No! What have you done?
You'll notice
Toy
that
Story's
these
mine.
are all. this is an animation.
Yes.
This is an
I was born
animation
in
panel.
1995. It was the first ever film my parents ever took me to as a baby.
Man, I feel old.
Same.
No comments. So yeah, these are all animated. These are all animated movies. You'll notice Godzilla is 100% animated in this movie. Some of the aliens are animated in Solo. Family Guy's definitely animated. Yeah, these
There's
are all.
DVDs mixed
There's
into it.
so these got.
It's DVD
These got
Blu-ray on
DVDs.
most
These got
of these.
DVDs.
So if you guys
So
want
you
to
get Godzilla
support us,
for like pets.
jump on iTunes, leave us a quick review. I know some of you guys did yesterday, and we appreciate it. Also, if you want to support us monetarily, stop by our booth. We would greatly appreciate it.
We got stuff. We got callers.
Do you want me to stop recording?
I have.
Yes, you're good.
Okay.